Hey guys, I'm WOOO, welcome back to another video, and today I decided to venture into PvP. I'd go into conflict and utilise a build that I've been toying with for a while now, and I wanted to see how this build can compete against the likes of the perfect clutch, perfect berserk bullshit. See how it compares against snipers and other skill builds, and how it compares against shotties and all that jazz. Because we all know you go into PvP, you go into conflict, you know that 2 or 3 out of the 4 players you compete against will be running perfect berserk, perfect clutch, or just berserk clutch in case their RNG isn't that good, or shotties with 500k armor, dealing insane damage. We're talking skill builds that don't really have a value in PvP. It's all about getting that bleed on players to slow them down. But yes, I decided to screw it, I'm going to do a PvP build. It's going to be a build that can compete against other builds. A build that is not meta and shouldn't work and shouldn't be viable, but thought, screw it, I don't care. This is off meta. This is something completely out the box that I'm going to utilise in PvP and prove that it works. And it genuinely does. I'm using the Pestilence Exotic LMG. Not many people use this in PvP because there are far superior weapons available. I'll be the first to put my hands up and say, yeah, you are right. But I want to prove you wrong. I want to show you how strong this is in PvP. And it is super duper strong. I fought many players with this. Berserk clutch, shotties, snipers. It's strong. It's super strong. And I've given you an inkling of what it can do. This is just a snapshot in PvP, in conflict. But above all, it's a fun build. PvP, again, if you're not running Berserk Clutch, you are at a disadvantage. You are, because the sheer power, the velocity of damage you can deal, plus the insane healing, if you have high crit, is out of this world. So, what have I done that can compete against those sort of builds? Take a look at this. This is my PvP build. Take a look, guys. Let's do this. Yes, guys, I'm WOOO, back once again like the Renegade Master. Yes, with a PvP build. Yes, shock, horror. I've decided to get my ass into PvP and deliver something I've been utilising for a few weeks quite stealthily, a bit Sam Fisher-esque. And now's the time to unleash this build. It is not perfect. We have perfectionists that come along and tell me that it's not perfect. I know it's not perfect, but I tell you what, it kicks ass. It really, really does. So let me show you this build and let me know what you think in the comment section. And trust me, you are tanky, dealing damage, and you have your skills. Take a look. Okay, guys, I'm rolling with a Nerf gun specialization for a few reasons. The first reason is I need my skill power above 3k, and in doing so, the Nerf gun specialization grants you that extra 50% skill power, so it gets it from about 2-1 to 3-2-5-4. So I'm happy with this, and that's why I'm utilizing this specialization, because it lets me grant more into defensive stats and still have that 3k skill power. Now, I have 3 offensive stats, I have 11 defensive stats, and 9 utility stats. The Pestilence is the choice of weapon that I've gone for on this build, and I want it to be as off meta in PvP as possible, and this build, as you can see, is not the meta. Don't get me wrong, people use Hive Stinger. I think every Tom, Dick and Harry uses the Hive Stinger, but not in the way that I would use it. This build is all about dealing a lot of damage with 3k skill power, being tanky with 361k armor, and have that nice element of 111k health. So, let's go for the build. The mask, it's hardwired, and I'm rolling with 3-piece hardwired because I'm going to get that 20% skill power, and set bonus 3, which is tamper-proof. Electrify your deployed skills, that's your hive, your turrets, your pulse sensor, causing enemies wandering too close to be shocked. Can occur every 10 seconds. Now, the attributes are skill power and health, and the mod is skill power and bleed damage. And I've opted for bleed because I want to get players on bleed with the Hive Stinger. Now, this is key. So just try and get bleed damage wherever possible on the build in terms of mods. The chest piece is again hardwired. So in terms of attributes, it's skill power, total armor, nice 14%, and 44,752 health. In terms of the mods, it is skill power with bleed damage, increased burn duration, don't need that, armor, explosive resistance, and total armor. And the offensive mod is weapon damage, LMG damage, and rifle damage. Now the holster again is hardwired. Now the attributes are skill power 719 and 27,330 health. Now, in terms of the mods, it's 2 utility mods, and I've gone for reload speed because I want to make sure that I get my weapon back on action as soon as possible. So that's an extra 9% that helps immensely, and a little bit of explosive damage well that helps my seeker mines. The Kneepads is the Petrov Defense group set. Now I'm using this because I like armor, and I've opted for as much armor on this build as possible because I need to be tanky. You know, if I'm going to run anything sub 300k, I will struggle with this build. So to have 360, that gives me that good element of tankiness. Now I've got calculated as the talent, and kills from cover reduce skill cooldowns by 10%. And that's really good for PvP, so PvE, and PvP it's okay, given I've spent a lot of time in cover with this build. So again, just trying to get my skills back a little bit quicker. So that's why I've opted for calculated on the talents. But armor, that's the key for me, is get armor everywhere on this build, so I want to be tanky. The gloves are the Contractor's gloves, and this is the Petrov Defense group set. Again, the LMG damage, the turret skill power. I don't really need the turret skill power, so it is what it is, in all fairness, but I wanted this piece on the build. So LMG damage 12%, assault rifle damage 4%, and skill power of 102. With the talent Perfect Terminate. Depleting enemy's armor grants plus 40% skill damage for 15 seconds. Kills refresh this. So again, you knock your enemy's armor down, you drop your Seeker Mine, you drop your Hive, you will get the extra 40% damage, and that's great for PvP. Now the last piece is the backpack. The backpack is the Gila Guard brand set. That's giving me 5% total armor. Not to mention 18.5% total armor, 3,000 health, and 21,000 armor. That's nice. Now, in terms of the talents on the ropes, weapon damage is increased by 15% while all skills are on cooldown. With this, it will only be your Seeker Mines. So once your Seekers are done, and if your Hive is recharging or refilling, then you will have that element of 15 to 18 seconds of 15% weapon damage. That's why I'm using this, to give me a bit more weapon damage, a bit more kick on the build. And the second talent is Hardened. That's an extra 15% armor. You can see now I'm just gone kick my ass straight into armor to make me tanky, have that great element of health and survivability of 112k, and then 3,000 skill power. That's a lot of damage from your skills. In terms of the mods, it is skill power bleed damage. The defensive mod is armor with total armor and more explosive resistance, which helps in PvP. So that is the gear. That's how I'm set out. So 3-piece hardwired and 3 high ends. Now again, if I could change this piece to a different brand set, then happy days. I'd be really, really happy. But it is what it is. I can't be perfect. And then in terms of the weapons, it's the Pestilence Exotic LMG. Now 24.6k base damage. Plague of the Outcast. After hitting the same enemy 5 times, the enemy is inflicted with Plague of the Outcast for 10 seconds. Whenever an enemy with Plague of the Outcast is killed, they leave a toxic cloud for 5 seconds that deals 1000% weapon damage per second to anyone inside and inflicts them with Pestilence. This debuff reduces healing received by 50% for 10 seconds. Whenever an enemy is downed with Pestilence, they are instead instantly killed. The debuff is removed if the enemy is repaired to full armor. The holster talent is Outcast Resilience. Gain 20% bonus armor 5 seconds whenever you're affected by blind, bleed, or burning, and that's only when holstered. The mods, rate of fire, weapon handling, and stability. Now my secondary is the military G36 that has Rooted. While equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. Buff is lost when next in cover, can occur once per 60 seconds. Again, they're the mods, but again, it's irrelevant because I'm only using this as the holstered weapon for rooted. And the same for my sidearm. I'm using this simply because I want in rhythm. While equipped, enemy kills with a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns can occur once every 60 seconds. So let's take a look at the skills. Start with the Stinger Hive. Now, refill speed is quite low. My skill haste is minimal on this build. And I've opted for that simply because I want that weapon damage up more often. That's why. So every 6 seconds you will get 1 charge back on the Hive. And again, yes, I'm purposely done this because I want on the ropes up as often as possible. Charges 15 meter range, which is nice. And as you can see, I've gone for damage, charges, and radius. The bigger the radius, the more chance you're going to get of hitting other players. So radius is good. You can go for extra charges if you so deem fit. However, I don't see the extra charges giving me much benefit. I'd rather damage or radius, so you got the chance of hitting more players, or more damage to create, again, more damage on players. It has a damage output 131k. PvP 21k. Now, Seeker Mines. Now, the Cluster Seeker Mines are 20-second cooldown. A damage per mine is 492,000. That's 3 mines. I've opted for skill haste, damage, and more damage. I could opt for extra cluster mines of 6, which give me some extra damage. But I've had more success with this setup as opposed to 6 cluster mines. I've tried both, and again, I want the instant kind of kick, as in 3 mines with more damage rather than several small mines. It is a personal preference. In PvE, I prefer more cluster mines, but with this setup and in PvP, again, I want to create as much damage as possible quickly. That's why I've opted for less mines and more damage. But again, it is personal preference. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Now, in terms of the stats, we'll take a look. Now, my PvP weapon damage with the Pestilence is 14,868. You see there's no crit on the build. Crit damage is irrelevant, there's no crit. Headshot damage 65%. 5-second reload time. Reload speed bonus 9%. Bit of stability. And in terms of weapon damage is 42% on the build, which is good given there is hardly any. Yeah, there's hardly any weapon damage on this build. It's all about survivability, armor, skill power. But you are punching quite nicely with this build, and 42% LMG damage is an okay place to be, given I'm running hardwired and free 2 defensive pieces and an offensive piece being the gloves. Now let's take a look at the rest. So 361k armor, 111k health, health regen of 55,932. Explosive resistance 7.11%, which is not a lot in all honesty. And then damage on the Hive is 21,011. So pretty decent. So guys, I'll quickly show you in the range how this works. And in terms of the cooldown on the ropes as well. So let's just change this from easy to medium. Hard. Let's do that. Let's just pop my Hive. You see, this is all set to PvP, so again, there's no damage to elites on the build whatsoever. Let's just drop that quickly. And you can see on the ropes is procced, and that'll be procced now for a good, it's 18-19 seconds, which is quite decent. So that increases my damage from 24k to over 31k. So it's pretty good. In all fairness, I like the extra damage, and the extra damage will go on players as well, so it's quite nice. And again, just drop the Seekers, there you go, just to see if it works in terms of on the ropes. And there you go, procced again. It's 20 seconds in fact. So 20 seconds, and again, you kill someone in cover, you'll get that 10% back, which is 2 seconds. Something to bear in mind. But I like to have the extra 20 seconds of extra 15% damage on this build. That's why I've opted for that, given I'm either going to be rolling with the on the ropes talent or perfect terminate in terms of the damage on the gloves. But there you go, guys. This is my PvP build. I love this build. I genuinely do. It has so much synergy in PvP, and the good thing is I get so many assists on this build. So on average, I will get 3 or 4 or 5 kills. And in terms of assists, I will get 7, 8 or 9 quite easily on this build. And I'll die once or twice. That's if I'm being stupid and I step out in front of a sniper. So yes, it has a great value in PvP, and I love the essence of tankiness. I've used this in the DC solo a little bit, and it fares very, very well. But in conflict, it really, really shines. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you want to see more Division 2 content, please smash and pound the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.